Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Chicago style pizza crust using baking powder instead of yeast. Let me tell you what the ingredients are. This is 3 cups of flour right here. This is a half a cup of cornmeal. This is 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and 1 tablespoon of salt. These are the ingredients you need to make a Chicago style pizza crust using baking powder instead of yeast. Additionally, you will need half a cup of olive oil. You will need water to hold it all together. And you will need a butter lined round cooking vessel. I'm using my cast iron pan, and I'm also using my rolling pin. So at this stage right here, I'm going to add my olive oil. Get the olive oil all over everything. Okay. Now I'm going to mix it up with my hand and get everything incorporated. So I'm going to show you that step, what it looks like when it's all incorporated nicely. Okay? So everything's incorporated. It took maybe a minute. And the olive oil is going to help everything. When it does this and crumbles apart easily, it's done. Grab a handful. Stay together. Crumble easily, it's done. Now we add our water. We're adding warm water. We're just adding a little bit at a time until it comes together in a ball. So let me show you what it looks like after I get my ball. We're just doing some hand kneading and forming right now. And you see I've added very little water and it's already forming a ball. But I want to get it all incorporated into a nice, smooth ball. So let me show you that next step. So it took maybe about 3 minutes of kneading. And this is what it looks like when it's done. It should be able to put your hand in. It should hold shapes. It should still feel rather moist. Okay? It's holding shape. And you see there's no particles in the bowl. All the dough has formed into a mass. Now this is enough for 2 crusts, so I'm going to break them in half now. I'm going to set one aside. And I'm going to roll one out on my stainless steel countertop. That's exactly why I have stainless steel, because I want commercial grade, able to cook and bake and prep food easily. So I'm going to take my one ball and I'm going to roll it out nicely and evenly with my rolling pin. And I'm going to set aside a little bench flour right here just in case it's starting to stick. So let me put my bench flour out here. Then I'm going to show you how I roll my dough. So I have my dough and I've already started pressing it out with my fingers. And because it's on the stainless steel, it's not even really sticking a whole lot. And remember, the cornmeal is in it too, so it's not 100% all glutinous. Alright, so I'm going to start rolling it out. You start taking your rolling pin and placing it in the center of your dough, and you go firm and even in each direction. Top, bottom, left, right. And you want to do that in all directions until you have the thinness or thickness that you desire. Okay. Now that is enough dough for this size pan. Now here's the task of moving the dough into the grease pan. So I'm going to do a little fold over on my rolling pin. That cornmeal is so pretty in here. It really is pretty. It's a next level pizza crust. Okay, so I've done that rollover method. Now I'm going to go ahead and place my greased pan over here. And now I'm going to do the unroll. Just start in the opposite direction. And take it like that. Okay. After you get to this stage, that's when you want to do your hand pressing. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Okay, if you get some holes, just squeeze them together. But you want to make sure you get some hand press action and some thumb press action all around the sides, okay? That's how you do Chicago style crust. Deep dish. Okay. You can make it pretty if you want, but kind of quick and rough is what I'm going for. Okay, that's my crust pressed into my pan. So now that I have my crust pressed into my pan, we're going to discuss the toppings. For Chicago pizza, it's sausage, peppers, onions, mozzarella cheese, cut thick, and a chunky tomato sauce. Now, this is turkey sausage. I chopped it up and added some fennel powder and black pepper. This is just sliced peppers and onions. This is mozzarella cheese sticks chopped up. And this is 1 small can of crushed tomatoes and 1 can of tomato sauce. And I just added a little Italian seasoning and sugar to that. So here's the fun part. Getting your cheese on. Chicago pizza, you have to have the cheese all around the edges. So the cheese is baked in. So you go heavy on the cheese, but make sure you press it into the edges, okay? So let me get my cheese put in all into the edges of this pan, okay? After I get the cheese laid out, I'll show you what it looks like. Just taking globs of cheese and pressing them against the cast iron. Let me show you that step. This is a very, very important step for Chicago. The cheese must be baked into the cast iron on the sides. As you can see, I have taken my thumbs and pressed cheese all around the pan. I have pressed that cheese everywhere. And even though we're not using yeast, you still want to let your crust rest for a few minutes before cooking. I'm going to let it sit for 10 minutes after I get all the ingredients on. The next layer is that turkey sausage, that fennel and black pepper infused turkey sausage. And you have to be generous, but this is already fully cooked sausage, so. All right. I got my sausage everywhere. Every bite should have some sausage in it. Now you take your green peppers and your onions and you do the same thing. Every bite should have green peppers and onions in it. That's looking good. The last step is your sauce. Chunky, slightly sweet. Alright, I got my sauce on. Now I'm going to spread it out. Okay, needs a touch more sauce. Over here. Over here. Over here. And over here. Alright, that looks saucy enough. Now we're going to bake it for 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to check on it in 20. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. This smells absolutely amazing. And I've had Chicago style pizza, and this smells and looks very, 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 very similar. But the truth is in the taste. So I'll show you that when it comes out the oven. Now that all the toppings are in place, the last touch is Parmesan. Grated Parm. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Alright, so I'm going to let it sit for just 10 minutes, then we're putting it in the oven. I'll show you that step, putting it in the oven, then letting it come out and letting it cool, because you got to have it cool to get that cheese crispy crust to come out right. I'll show you the next step. So you can see the coals are white on the bottom half of the oven, and the coals are white on the top half of the oven. So now we're going to lower the grate in on that bottom layer. Grate is in. Now we're ready for our pizza. We've just put our pizza on the bottom grate, and now we're going to put our lid on the top, and we're going to let it bake. Heat is coming from all sides by the time we put the lid on. And so we made an adjustment to the fire. We put it on the hottest rack. Now we're getting ready to put the lid back on. So it's done. It took probably 25 to 30 minutes and one heat adjustment. Let me cool it down and cut it up and let you know what it tastes like. So it's finished. It looks great, it smells great, and you can tell it's done when you look at the sides. You see it's coming away from the pan. It's crispy. Wow. Let me cut into it and have a taste. Look at this. Because it's Chicago pizza, it must be eaten with a fork. Let me get my fork full of pizza and show you what it tastes like. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. It's so crispy and zesty. Mm-hmm. 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 That is so good. I think I can even pick it up with my hands. Mm-hmm. Putting that cornmeal in the dough, that Chicago thing, it's extra special. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. I hope you try this recipe. Thank you for watching. Before all my pizza's gone, I want to show you that crispy crust edge. The pizza's delicious. I think that pizza made with yeast does taste a little bit better than pizza made with baking powder, but this is still very good. Thank you for watching again.